So what impact does Steven Strasburg pitching the World Series have on San Diego State baseball?
Well, first and foremost, we're so proud of the accomplishments he's had up to this point. I mean, it's just been unbelievable to watch his career, develop in the past, I guess, 10 years in the big leagues, from the moment he stepped on the field in, Nationals uniform and had an opportunity to pitch. He had 14, strikeouts and really kind of have never looked back, since then. He's just done a fabulous job. And so, I can tell you that during the week, I've since they've won the National League pennant, I've had a lot of chill bone moments. It's been a lot of fun to watch, and I'm just so happy for him and his accomplishments. We're very excited about starting tonight, and obviously tomorrow it's a big day for San Diego State baseball as well.
Mark, he had a no-hitter his last time here. He stepped up in the postseason and pitched great. How do you think he's going to do on the big stage of the World Series? More of the same, like he's done in big moments?
Well, I mean, I guess what your expectation is he throws a no-hitter in the World Series. I mean, that's it's tough to do. But, I think that leads to really kind of what's happened over his baseball career is, his expectations have been set so high, and when he, has a subpar year, he gets 12 wins or 14 wins and, doesn't finish the season due to injury, it's a disappointment. But if you look over his career, even this year, it's been an unbelievable year for him. And so, I'm going to be hanging on every pitch like everybody else, and, hopefully there's a lot of success, and we just hope he gets a W. Obviously a 7-inning shutout and lead, leave the game with the lead would be unbelievable as well.
As a baseball guy, what are some things that he could do you think that worked to his advantage against that Astro lineup?
Well, what he's done all postseason is he's kind of kept the hitters off balance. He's kind of sped them up, slowed them down. He's had a tremendous changeup throughout the postseason, and I think that's been his pitch, his go-to pitch to get white people out, not only with strikeouts but soft contact. So it's been a lot of fun to watch. It's a different style of pitching than what he had here at San Diego State. He could dominate with his fastball. A college lineup, and I think once you get to the big leagues, everyone's throwing in the high 90s, it seems like. And so he's found a way to pitch to his strength, and one of his strengths obviously is his curveball and his changeup, and his fastball still can range anywhere from 95 to 98. But the best thing, or the thing that I've seen him do so well is speed guys up, slow them down, keep them off balance, and, it's been really fun to watch. And he doesn't walk anybody.
When he got hurt, what did you think?
Which time?
Well, when he had the major surgery.
Well, it's just, it's heartbreaking, when something happens to not just Steven, but any of our former athletes or anybody that's having an opportunity to play at the next level. The first thing you think is, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? How's his career going to end up? And but at the same time, you also understand the amount of work that Steven has put into his craft, starting here at San Diego State and leading into his professional career. The outlook was still pretty good. It wasn't cloudy for sure. It was definitely a bright future for him because we knew that he was going to work his tail off to get himself back to compete at the highest level.
Have you been able to speak with him at all in the recent weeks, months?
Not in the recent weeks, especially during the playoffs. I'm a baseball guy, so I'm very superstitious, and it was very hard for me to push send after they won the National League Championship. I hope I didn't jinx anything, so I did wish him congratulations, him and his wife, his family. But at the same time, I almost didn't push send on that deal because I'm superstitious, so hopefully I didn't mess it up for the Nationals and Steven.
What does it mean for your players now, or current players, that they see a guy that graduated from San Diego State and now he's pitching the World Series? I mean, does it give some of these guys that are playing in the Mountain West hope that they could make it to that level?
Well, absolutely, but not only that, is Steven's connected to our players. He knows a lot of our guys. He comes out and works out in the off season, so he's connected to our program. So there's a big sense of pride with our guys. It's you can hear him out there talking about Steven, or even some of our guys, talking about Strasburg changeup, those kinds of things. And so, does it give him hope? Absolutely. But at the same time, he's just done so much for our program, being involved with our guys and impacting them, not just on the baseball field, but in life lessons as well.
It's been 10 years now since he was here. When you sit back and watch him on TV now, does any particular memory come back, or is it a flood of memories with that?
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that because, every time he does pitch, again, my expectations, just like everybody else, are pretty high, So, of course, when I flash back is, the first thing every time I see somebody strike out, the first thing I think about is a 23 strikeout game, which is unheard of. But and a funny story about that is that I didn't even know he's had that many strikeouts. It was a 1-0 game against Utah. And so we were on high alert the entire game. And so when the game finished, Rusty Filter punched me and said, "That's 23 strikeouts." I had to go back through my book and start counting them as everybody's crowding the field. And I'm like, holy cow, that's 23 strikeouts. That's pretty amazing. But the no-hitter, for him to finish his career here against in front of a jam-packed stadium and throw a no-hitter on his last time on the Mesa was, again, I just got chills thinking about it just now.
Mike, I got a little bit of a different question. Baseball is about to take very strong action to change the structure of the minor leagues. And they're talking about folding 4 leagues, eliminating 40 teams, mandating clubs can only have 150 players under contract. This is radical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How does this impact the landscape of college ball? Will it make more quality players available for you to sign, develop, rather than have these kids go to the Appalachian League and think they can make it?
Well, I think the knee-jerk reaction is yes. I think really we have to find out over a period of time how that's going to affect college baseball. Not only at the Division I level, but throughout the entire collegiate, Division II, III, all the way down to junior college. I think you have to give it some time to see how it's going to impact because, again, it's going to change how they're going to sign people, what they're going to be able to offer, young people either coming out of high school or, transitioning from college into the professional ranks. And so I think the first reaction is, that's an awesome deal for us, but at the same time, we won't know that for probably 4 or 5 years if it's really going to have an influx of better, talent entering the college ranks. So I think it's going to take some time.
Coach, a little bit of a side question, but do you have your costume lined up?
Halloween game, November 2nd. We're going to have a Challenger game at 2 o'clock. Our Halloween game, our annual Halloween game is going to be at 3 o'clock. But the costume is a work in progress. And I can promise you that usually that work in progress lasts up until about an hour before the game. So I don't know what I'm wearing this year. But it's a lot of fun for our guys to kind of dress up and get crazy and get silly. And honestly, it's a grind through the fall. It's kind of like spring training. It's a lot of weightlifting, a lot of conditioning. The baseball piece is just starting to happen for us right now, so it's an opportunity for us to break up the fall and have some fun and check our egos a little bit and have some fun out there.
You talk about how that Halloween game's kind of evolved for you.
Well, it started, I think it was 2011. 2012 is when we got recognition. We had 4 guys decide to do a Jamaican bobsled deal, and they built a bobsled. They went to the plate with 4 guys in this. And again, the first thing I was thinking, don't go up there, don't do it. They went up there, swung the bat. Nobody got hit in the head or anything. So that piece of footage ended up on ESPN. It kind of evolved. And so we started to think, how are we going to outdo that deal, which is hard to do. Again, it was just a really creative idea by our baseball players to do that. And then a couple of years later, we did a flash down, I don't know what they're called, flash mob deal, and we did a Thriller dance with some of our band members, our cheerleaders, our dance team. Came out in the middle of our game. They started playing Michael Jackson Thriller. That was a lot of fun. That was kind of like the pinnacle. And then we're kind of like, well, what are we going to do next? We're going to get zip lines and stuff and have Iron Man fly in. We didn't know what to do, and so we changed that into a community opportunity, and we've teamed up with the Down Syndrome Association, and so that's kind of our connection now. So our guys pair up with Down Syndrome kid, adult, doesn't matter. They kind of work out their costumes. They kind of show up in the same costumes. We do a Challenger game before our Halloween game, so that's been a great marriage. It's been a lot of fun, and it's a great day of baseball, and a lot of smiles and laughing goes on during that time.
Do you have to approve player costumes?
Yes. Well, since we had the Michael Phelps Speedo on the mound, yeah, I do have to approve those.
Have any players considered doing anything that involves a doggy door?
Boom, boom. No. Anything else?
Hey, Mike, one other question. If this proposal goes through and they cut the draft back to 20 rounds from where it is now, how does that impact you in terms of holding on players or getting players?
Well, what I'll tell you is that the history in California, a higher percentage of guys that are drafted in California in the top 25 rounds are assigned. And that's been kind of the history over the last, 8 to 10 years that guys that are drafted within those rounds, high school and college. The top 10 rounds typically, it's very rare for us to get a guy in the top 10 rounds to come to school here. We do have one this year, and Wyatt Hendry is a 10th round draft pick by the Cubs this year. We ended up tricking him into coming to college, but how's it going to impact us? Obviously the pool of players is going to shrink down considerably, and so those odd guys that might be getting drafted as a 22nd round in the past might be skipped in the draft, and so those people will fall into the college ranks. And so we'll see how it impacts us. Like I said, I think it's going to take a couple, maybe at least one recruiting cycle, 4-year cycle to really feel the impact if that proposal does go through, to see if it's impacted us or not. Again, I don't know how it will, but we're going to continue to recruit the best kids in San Diego and Southern California and try and sign those guys and still try and keep those guys that might be a top 10 round pick to come to campus.